Good morning and welcome to week 4 of movement and meditation. And this week we are focusing in on positivity and gratitude. Some of the things that we're going to be doing is based around The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, which is all about building a practice of gratitude throughout the day. And we're going to look at day 11, a magic morning, and feeling into gratitude for everything that's already come this far. So the benefits of building a gratitude practice helps us to step into the moment, to be in the present. It changes our filter on how we see the day, which then can help to boost our mood. It can put us on a path towards happiness as we're looking for the things that are going right rather than the things that are going wrong. And it can help us to build stronger relationships and we show appreciation and value for those around us. I'm just going to read the quote that's in the front of the book on day 11, Magic Morning. When you arise in a morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to be able to think, enjoy, and to love. And that's a quote from Marcus Aurelius, who's a Roman emperor. So that's what we're going to build into our practice today. Up into standing, we're thinking about our mountain posture. So we're pressing the feet down into the floor. We've got a tiny little bend in the knees. We roll the shoulders back, pulling the shoulder blades together. And we lift from the crown of the head. We're lifting from here and round, not from the chin, but lifting from the crown of the head. We're standing tall. And remember that this is an option as well in the chair. So we can sit into the chair doing this as well. So whichever feels right for us this morning. And just arrive in this moment. Settling into our practice. Bringing our focus into today. By checking in with where we are. Checking in with where our thoughts are right now. Reminding ourselves that we are much more than the sum of our thoughts. Checking in with how we feel emotionally. Knowing that all our feelings are welcome. And then taking a little scan through the body. Maybe noticing any areas of discomfort. And then bringing all of your attention into your breath. I want you to cast your mind back the first thing this morning. You can close the eyes down, stood up if you want to, or just fix the gaze. Our first thing to be grateful for is the bed that we slept in or rested in overnight. We're saying thank you. The bed with the covers, keeping us cozy. And then standing here in thanks for the clean water that's readily available to us. Maybe we've already washed our faces or had a drink of water. Or maybe we boiled the kettle and have had a warm drink. So standing here in thanks and gratitude for electricity available at the push of a button. And then standing here in thanks for your whole body, for your feet, getting you out of bed, be able to move you towards watching this video, and for everything that your body has already done for you in the few hours that you've been up. And then bringing our attention back into our breath. The breath going in, the breath going out. Standing here in gratitude for the breath. The miracle of breathing that is keeping us alive. We're going to do a lot of energy movement this morning, getting everything moving in the body so that we can step out into the day with gratitude. So just we've been stood a little bit of a while, just take a little bit of a shake, just shaking everything out. And then come into stillness. And we're just going to take some forward folds. So if you know that you get lightheaded when you fold forward, you just take the arm movement. And again, we can do this just sat at the chair. So we're going to raise the arms up together. We might think about taking that belly breath so we can breathe in, lift the arms overhead, connecting the hands, and then coming through heart center. Keep the knees soft as we fold forwards. And maybe that first one, we just hang there for a moment. Just creating some space in the spine. And then on the next in-breath, we breathe in, lift up. Hands together. And then next breath out, folding forward. So trying to do the movement in one breath. So we always breathe in as we open the body. And we breathe out as we fold forwards. Let's take a couple more. Breathing in, lifting up. And breathing out, folding forwards. Let's go with one more. Lifting all the way up. And then all the way back down. And then let's hang again in that forward fold. Knees soft. Weight coming forward into the front of the feet. Try and let the head be heavy. And then to come back up, just taking a little bit of a sway as we come all the way back up. And then take a little pause. Just take little pauses in between the movements. And then maybe we take the feet a little bit wider. And then we're going to take a side bend. So bending over to the side, really stretching the side of the body. Remembering to breathe, remembering to keep those knees soft. Back to center. And then the opposite way. And back to center. And then obviously on the chair, we could take those legs a little bit wider here. And then let's take side bend again to each side. And then the other way. And back to center. So we're going to take some hip circles. So on the chair, you're going to be moving more into the waist, the top half of the body. Whereas stood up, let's really move into the hips. So taking the hips into a little circle. And maybe we start small, and then can we get a little bit bigger? And really sticking the bum out and taking the hips forward. And then we get a little bit smaller again. Until we come back to stillness. Little pause before we go in the opposite direction. So just little movements. If you want to, you could do some movement with the arms as well. Whatever feels right, just let them be loose. Just whatever feels right, or maybe in front of you. Taking the hips a little bit bigger and then making smaller circles and then coming back to stillness. So just thinking about waking up our brains and our coordination this morning. Can you take your hips in a figure of 8? So it's a sideways 8 or that infinity sign. So it's taking the hips in that figure of 8 movement. And on the chair, that's quite tricky on the chair, but can you move more the top half of the body in that figure of 8 movement? And then coming back to center, can you go the opposite way? So can you start the opposite way? It will feel a little bit strange. And it is harder on the chair than I think than stood up. So yeah, taking that figure of 8, getting the brain, taking a different path just in our movement, and then coming back to stillness again. And we're going to take a little twist. So try to let the arms be really loose as you take this twist. If you're on the chair, you might need to come a little bit further forward so you've got some space behind your back. And I'll see if you can go a little bit faster. And then going as fast as you can. You can have a little bit of a tap into the lower back. And fast as you can. And then let's slow it down again. Until we come to stop. And then taking that stillness. I'm really closing the eyes here. Can you feel that energy in the end of the fingers? We've got the blood pumping. A teacher that I like to follow, who's called Andrew Wren, did some similar movements with him. And he said it's like you're a snow globe. You've got all that glitter, you're shaking all that glitter around the body, and then you come to stillness and you're letting all that glitter settle into the body, helping you to shine through the day, which I loved that. So let's try and think about that when we're doing those movements, that we're shaking up all our glitter and then letting it all settle into the body so that we can shine. And let's get some movement into the shoulders. So just circling the shoulders in one direction. And then maybe the other direction. And we could stick with this movement, or if we've got some mobility in the shoulders, we could take the arms overhead and we just give them a little bit of a circle. Or we could make it smaller, do it with the elbow here. So remember, we're always working at where our bodies are at. There's always different options. If you've gone one direction, can you go in the opposite direction? And then come into stillness. Again, noticing where we've shaken up all that glitter. It's coming back, settling back down into the body. Again, a little bit of a wake up for the brain. Can we take the arms overhead? Can we get one arm going forwards, one arm going back? So I always think it's easier to twist the body, so it's like you're opening the arms. And then can you get them to come back up? So they're going the opposite way, one forward, one back. It can be a little bit tricky, this, if you've not done it before. It's all about getting the left and the right brain working together and building up those connections. So everything takes practice. Just have a chuckle at yourself if you're finding it tricky, and then shaking the hands out. Ooh. maybe we're aching a little bit in the arms, so just have a really good shake. And we're going to tap out the body, tap into our energy, get the blood circulating. So we're going to start with the arms. So we're going to take the fist up into the shoulder, and we're going to come down the arms. We're going to really tap down the arms, as hard or as gentle as you want. Tapping into the palm, coming up the inside edge of the arm. And then let's go the opposite side. You might want to really get into the muscle in the top of the shoulders there. Coming down and up the inside. Let's not forget about the hand, tapping around the hand and back up. And then shaking those arms out again. And then let's go down the legs. So let's start with the hips. And then we'll do one leg at a time actually. We shall take both hands down the right leg, tapping down the inside and the outside of the leg. And then maybe as you come back up, you go into the calf. You could really tap into the calf, the back of the knee, maybe into the back of the thigh. Remember, we can be doing this sat down as well. We just go as far as we can. And then coming back down again, let's go on the front of the thigh, just around the knee, so gently around the knee, and a little bit more gently on the shin, maybe a little bit of tapping into the foot, and then coming up wherever you think you need that tapping. I definitely need it in my calves. And coming back up, let's take a little moment again before we go down the other side. Let that sparkle settle in the body. And then the other side, coming down the inside and the outside of the leg, tapping into the foot, getting into the calf, back of the knee, the back of the thigh, coming back up. And then as we go down again, let's go with the front of the thigh, gently around the knee, coming down the shin, and then to the front of the foot. And then coming back up any way that feels right. And then maybe we can tap into the lower back a little bit, maybe a little bit higher into the kidneys. Just waking up, energizing the whole of the body. And then let go of that. Take that moment again in stillness. We're all about building the mind-body connection. So when we're pausing, we're noticing what's going on in the body. Just subtle changes. And then last one, I don't know what this will be like with the microphone, but let's tap into the chest, stimulating into our thyroid. And then let's take a big breath in. And then let's make our Tarzan on the way out. Just doing it as loud as you want to. I'm recording this early on a Sunday morning and my daughter's asleep upstairs, so I just did a quiet Tarzan. Hope I haven't woken her up. And then just get jiggling again. And finding that stillness again. Remembering to always keep those knees soft if we're in standing, shoulders back and down. Just taking a moment. And then let's come to a seat. So whether that's onto the chair or maybe you want to sit down onto the floor. I'm going to stay on the chair today. And we'll just take a little bit of gentle tapping in the back of the neck. So just either side of the spine. Feel gentle And then maybe coming up into the back of the skull, coming all the way up onto the top of the head, so little raindrops on the top of the head. Or maybe you're adding a little bit of sparkle. Tapping all over the head, and then maybe you come to the forehead, just gently tapping the forehead. Maybe around the eyes, really gently on the underneath of the eyes. It's a really delicate place. And maybe you go a little bit harder on the top of the eyebrows. And maybe down onto the cheeks, maybe the chin, the jawline, maybe down into the neck, maybe a little bit into the chest again, and back into the neck. And then resting the hands back down. So throughout our weeks, we've been working on our B breath, which is where we make a humming noise on the out breath, which helps us to lengthen that out breath and raises our vibration in our body. It really sends a message from the vagus nerve, which goes all the way from the stomach all the way up into the brain. It's sending a message up into the brain to just chill out. Everything's calm, everything's okay today. So we're going to work on taking the 6 B breaths to bring us into a sort of a meditative state, close our session together. So taking a big breath in and then humming on the way out. Let's make this the last one. And then maybe we close the eyes down, perhaps we already have done. And we let that breath settle into the body. And we bring ourselves back into gratitude, into everything that we can already be grateful for. The sun rising on another day, a nourishing breakfast that perhaps we've already eaten or we're looking forward to. Hot water at the turn of a tap. The clothes resting on your body. Or maybe there's other things that you could be grateful for. Something else. But just saying quietly to yourself, thank you, thank you, thank you. So our mission going forwards into the day is to look for the glimmers, the little things that we often take for granted. But maybe even in today's challenges, you could find the silver lining. Let's step out into the day, smiling, excited for what the day has to offer. So as we come back round, taking a little bit of movement into the hands, into the feet. I'd like to take a little bit of an energy rub, rubbing into the hands. And then we can take that heat into the eyes as we flicker the eyes open behind the hands. And then just gently bringing the hands down the face. Taking a little look around the room. Maybe you pinpoint your favourite colour, or maybe your favourite thing in the room. Mine is my bluebell woodland. You're just taking in your surroundings. Maybe already thinking about that gratitude for everything that's here. Hope you've enjoyed that and hope you can step out into the day feeling energized and alive. Thanks for joining me. Bye.